Then let's go down to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow, there's chaos. There's absolute chaos. There's been a lot of terrible things said about this guy from the people of Tampa Bay. Liam Coen, the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Congrats to him. I think there's been a lot of potential misreporting. Maybe. I don't know. Reports say this, reports say this, reports say that. There's been chaos through this Liam Coen situation. It all started Sunday, January 12th. Jags owner says GM Balky would be fired if a new head coach wants him out. Remember, this was on a Zoom call. We saw it. It was awesome. Shad Khan, and Trent Baalke were sitting on a Zoom. They were the only two on the screen. He was asked, if a new coach wants a new GM, would you do it? He goes, absolutely, I'd get rid of this guy if that's what a coach wants. Baalke just has to sit there and take it. He's been there for a long, long time. Then on Wednesday, Coen interviews on Zoom. Then on Monday, January 20th, Coen interviews in person. Remember, Baker Mayfield is not getting people jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Baker Mayfield's success has gotten people jobs. Obviously, Canales with Carolina, now with Liam Coen. Then on Wednesday, January 22nd, 2 days after he interviews in person, allegedly he withdrew his name from the Jaguars head coaching search and got a deal from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to either double his salary, but at least make it the biggest coordinator salary in the history of the NFL. We reach out to some people that know this world well. And we said, hey, when somebody removes their name from a head coaching search, why is it? Or it gets reported that a coach removes his name from a head coaching search, what does that mean? Well, it potentially means that the owner of the team he's currently on said, hey, here's a new deal. All you do is remove your name. You'd rather have bird in the hand than two in the bush. You'd rather have a guaranteed massive contract than a potential massive contract, or that person thinks that they're not going to get the job, we're not going to do the song and dance anymore, want to refocus. Well, it was reported that he was given a massive pay increase to stay with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Once again, we don't know if Liam Coen said any of this. This is all the things that are just being reported. Then you go a day later, Coen didn't sign his contract. He meets with the Jags again in secrecy, allegedly. Then we get to last night. He's offered the job. Now he's making $13 million a year, allegedly. For the next 5 years, it's like $60 million or something. Joining us now is a man who probably knows the ins and outs a little bit better. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans are saying this guy's a scumbag. This guy is a scumbag. But if you're a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, you got to be pumped that Trevor Lawrence is going to get an offensive guru to potentially get everything rolling over there. Ladies and gentlemen, senior NFL insider for ESPN, Adam Schefter.
Yeah, Schefty.
Schefty, we know you're very busy. We appreciate the hell out of you. It was reported all these things about Liam Coen. He withdrew his name. He did this. He did that. His wife has come out and said that their kid was sick during all of this. So what's real? What do you think is real? What isn't at this moment, Schefter?
Well, I think there's two different sides of this, okay? I think Liam Coen would tell you that he feels like this was his right. And by the way, in the NFL, with contracts, even if there's a signed contract as a coordinator, it is within your rights to go take a head coaching job anywhere else you want. I think that he felt like the Buccaneers, right or wrong, I'm just telling you what he felt like, the Buccaneers strong-armed him into this deal, and he signed the deal, and the Buccaneers would say, we made him the highest-paid coordinator in NFL history, and then when we tried to figure out where he was, we could not find him throughout the course of the day on Thursday to get him to sign that contract. And they say that they reached out multiple times. He says he was in touch with Todd Bowles and informed him of his decision to interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, there are two different versions to this and how this is going to go. Hold on one second.
Yeah,
Hold on one second. Hold on one second.
We'll mute you. There's obviously a couple Saints in Dallas are now the only remaining head coaching spots. Schefter potentially is getting information on that, or maybe an OC job or a DC job at one of these new places. He's head turned to the side. Yeah, I'm on TV. I'll talk to you in a second. Okay, here we go, and we're back.
Okay. Yeah, I'm back. Yep. So, again, I think Liam Coen has his thoughts, and the Buccaneers have their thoughts. And you can believe whatever you want. I'm just telling you there's two different schools of thought. And I would say this. In 20 years, this century, since the turn of the century, I don't remember the last time I heard one team this hot and bothered about a coach taking another deal. Like, they were hot. But by the way, his side is like, we didn't do anything wrong. We were exploring our rights. We took this contract. We let them know. Again, you believe what you want to believe. I'm just the messenger giving you all the sides of the story.
Standard operating procedure, though, from ownership, whenever a coach is potentially in the mix for another head coaching job, a coordinator, is to offer a little bit more money to withdraw the name, though, right? This is standard operating procedure, the way this normally works?
Withdraw the name? What do you mean? You froze there for a moment. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you that, Pat.
Okay, so whenever an owner comes to a coordinator and his name is up for a job, this is very normal procedure from teams to offer a big pay raise to withdraw your name, right?
I don't think that's standard. I think that this was an exception. They were making him the highest paid coordinator, but I think his camp felt like they were being, again, I'll use that word, strong-armed into a deal, and I don't know why but they felt that way. That's how they felt. And the Buccaneers say, we should be so fortunate to be strong-armed into a deal that would make us the highest paid coordinator in the game. Like, again, everybody's got their side. So I'm trying to be fair to everybody here, and it's not easy because there's a lot of different versions of how this is going down. So I can just tell you that, like I said, I don't remember the last time I heard a team that irate over a coaching decision.
Okay, so Tampa's pissed. All right, we shall see how that ends up working out with Coen. They lose Spytech over to Las Vegas, their assistant general manager. Let's talk about Las Vegas. They hire Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's name was dropped, I think, in the Chicago Bears. We thought maybe it was an agent working this entire thing. How real was Pete Carroll to anywhere other than Las Vegas?
Wait, hold on. So it wasn't an agent working the entire thing on Pete Carroll, Pat? It wasn't?
Turns out potentially not. So that's what I want to talk about. How real was Pete Carroll anywhere else other than Las Vegas? And why do you think Tom Brady inevitably went this way? Because we have been told that Tom was kind of, him and Davis both, but Tom was running the interviews basically for the Raiders.
Yeah, I think that this was all about Tom leading an organization and finding somebody that he had respect for. Look, they were interested in Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson opted to go to Chicago. And I think when you're the Raiders and you don't have a quarterback and you feel like you need to reset some things, you're trying to get somebody that they feel like needs to turn around the culture and help build the program back up. That's how they feel. And so they know there's no quick fixes. So I think they think that by bringing in Pete, this guy's incredible. Like, he has got so much energy, and he is such an inspiration. If we go back to O's, right? I took O's to Seattle to perform for the Seahawks a few summers ago, and I've been.
Pete figured him out. Pete figured it out. Pete figured out O's.
Well, first. Mesmerized by O's, right? And so, he couldn't ask enough questions and all the. But anyway, he brings into the meeting room in the morning, and I'm sure like a lot of teams have versions of this, but I'd never seen it. Like, it was like a DJ up front. It was like nightclub music, songs I'd never heard that I downloaded into my Spotify so I could listen to, because it just felt like I was like pumped up. They had basketball hoops and guys shooting hoops and dancing, and Pete coming, and it's rah-rah, and they're yelling. Like, I got tired being at the meeting for 3 hours. Like, I was worn out by the end of the meeting. And this guy is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so he's 73 years old. He's going to be the oldest head coach in the history of the National Football League next season. To tie this all together, when Pete Carroll was in his very first season as the head coach of the New York Jets, his very first-round draft pick in 1994, I believe it was Aaron Glenn. 30-plus years later, Aaron Glenn is hired as the head coach of the New York Jets, and Pete Carroll is hired as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. So his very first draft pick is now a head coach. He's got so much energy, and I think that the Raiders felt like, okay, we know this is going to be a little while. We don't have the quarterback we want. We want to make this program, this organization competitive, have the culture right, start building it the right way so that when we get the players we want and need, when we get the quarterback in here that we want and need that can keep up, hopefully, with Mahomes and Herbert and Bo Nix, that Pete Carroll will lift that program up and get it into a spot where whenever he decides he doesn't want to coach anymore, or they move on from him, that he's passing off the baton and the team continues moving forward.
Okay, do we know who his coordinator is going to be and everything like that? Do we have any clue or any inkling on who could potentially be joining him out there in Las Vegas?
Not yet. We'll see how that goes. I don't know who his offensive coordinator. That'll be a big hire, and the quarterback issue will be a big decision that team has to make between the input of Tom Brady and Pete Carroll. So we'll see.
Okay.
Not going to be Liam Coen.
Okay, yeah, not going to be Liam Coen. He's not going to be at Tampa either. Sorry, Tampa. No, sorry, Tampa. Go Bolts down there, but go the hell out of here, Liam Coen. I don't know if he's welcome back in Tampa ever. Beautiful city. Jacksonville will certainly love him if he wins. 2 more jobs open. Conman has a question for you.
Yeah, Schefty, who's left for the Saints? Is Big Mike McCarthy still probably one of the guys that's going to get tagged down there as the head coach, or is there another coordinator, maybe like a Brian Flores or something along those lines, who's kind of been forgotten about in this process that might get hired?
Well, I think today they have Anthony Weaver in, and tomorrow they have Mike Kafka, the Giants offensive coordinator, in. And then next week, I think you have to see how these playoff games play out this weekend. Cliff Kingsbury, the Commanders, OC, Kellen Moore, the Eagles, OC, Joe Brady, the Bills, OC, all have been linked to them. I don't even remember which ones virtually interviewed with the Saints to begin with. They're all in play, and Mike McCarthy's in play. So you're looking for an answer, and there's a lot of different guys in that mix right now. I think Mike McCarthy makes a lot of sense there. He's got deep ties and connections to the organization. We'll see ultimately if he's the guy, but I think there are some other guys that are interesting to this organization, and I don't think they're there just yet.
Mike McCarthy has deep ties to the Saints?
Well, he's worked and known some of those guys. I think he worked in New Orleans. I'm pretty sure he worked in New Orleans and know some of the people there.
Oh, okay, nice. Mike McCarthy's the Yinzer. He's beloved everywhere.
Yeah, amen.
We understand. Is he potentially going back to Dallas? They don't have a job either. You mentioned Kelly Moe. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Schefty, reports now have been really heating up that, hey, Brian Schottenheimer's kind of going to be the next guy. They're just kind of waiting to maybe finalize it. Is there any movement on that, or is that a bunch of BS? And is, a guy like Kelly Moe still potentially going to be the Cowboys head coach?
It's hard to tell because I think one guy determines that, and one guy can change his mind at any moment, and one guy can wake up today and decide, you know what, I know we've done a lot of work into Brian Schottenheimer, but I feel like Deion Sanders or Jason Witten would be the best for this. Again, I don't know what Jerry Jones is going to be feeling today. I think they spend a lot of time on Brian Schottenheimer. I think that makes a lot of sense on a lot of levels. But ultimately, one guy's going to make this decision. And until he makes the decision, we don't know exactly what direction this is going to go. So it's hard to pin it on somebody until they're moving forward with that decision. And as of last night, they hadn't moved forward on any decision to my knowledge.
Okay, so is this going to end today, you think? Coaching cycle?
No. The Saints will go into next week because they're going to wait for the games. The Cowboys could end today, could end next week. We don't know when Jerry's going to decide to make a decision. That could be any time. So you got those two. We need a GM in New York. I know there are reports that Darren Muji is in line, but again, the Jets are just texting. We haven't offered. We haven't made a decision. The Broncos said we're sitting with him here in Denver. He hasn't received an offer yet, so we'll see how that plays out. It wouldn't surprise me if he winds up being the guy. We're waiting to see who Jacksonville hires as a general manager still. So what are we missing? We're missing a Jets GM, we're missing a Jaguars GM, and we're missing 2 head coaches in New Orleans and Dallas, correct? I think that's it. Am I missing anybody now?
That's how we feel as well. That's how we're seeing the entire thing. This is Schefty season too, right? I mean, you've been on it the entire time here. This is a busy time for you.
You know what, Pat? It's funny. I had somebody call me this morning. They're like, where does this rank in terms of busy times of the year? And I really think that when it comes to the NFL, everything when it's happening is the busiest time of the year.
That baby.
The trade deadline as it's unfolding is the busiest time of the year. The head coaching, hiring, and firing, when that happens, that's the busiest time of the year. When free agency happens, that's the busiest time. When the draft happens, that's the busiest time. When training camp opens, that's the busiest time. When the season gets underway, that's the busiest. They're all busy because people love football.
What?
The greatest reality show going.
What?
There are storylines like Liam Coen and Pete Carroll that you never could predict in a million years. And so people love these storylines. They love their teams. Great passion for the sport. And so it's always busy, and it's going to keep staying busy.
What's the most important game, Schefter?
Most important game?
Yeah.
Well, they're both important. Why is one more this weekend?
The next one. Okay, that's a mindset that players have. That seems like that's a mindset that you have as an insider as well. Everything's the most busy and the most important because we're in the middle of it right now. Speaking of the two games, I know this is out of the coaching world a little bit. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Schefty, injury-wise, what are the Eagles working with? Because I saw something about Juergens not being at practice, same with Goddard, and then Taylor Rapp out for the Bills. Are there any other injuries we should be looking at going into the weekend?
Well, I think the big ones are obviously Jalen Hurts and Quinyon Mitchell. Both guys were listed in full on the injury report yesterday, so they're playing. And I think the whole question is Jalen Hurts 100%, 90%, 70%? Like, what is he? Mm-hmm. And I don't know that we're going to know until we see him out there on Sunday. I think, it's really significant. The Commanders lost their best offensive lineman, Sam Cosmi, last week to the torn ACL. He lines up directly across from Jalen Carter. So that's a big challenge that they're going to have to overcome this week. Yeah. So no Taylor Rapp for the Bills. The Chiefs are healthy. We'll see about Hurts and Mitchell. No Cosmi.
What about Juergens for Philly? This is just playoffs. Let's get him to the game.
Yeah, I don't have an answer there. I've had a couple of people raise that to me, but I don't know specifically where that's at right now.
Raise that to you. That means he's potentially out, or they're just asking?
No, people ask me, what's the deal? And I'm like, I don't know. I need to check into that. But I've been busy with Pete Carroll, Liam Coen, and the other openings. So I haven't had time to check on Cam Juergens.
All right. Well, we appreciate you doing your thing. We'll continue to follow along with your Twitter account. Obviously, you're on top of it. You're the man. We appreciate you, brother.
Guys, enjoy the games this weekend. We'll talk Monday. Look forward to it. Thank you for having me today.
You got it, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Schefter.
Hey, Schefter.